So what basically we have here is we have two dosing systems. So these are our dosing pumps right here. And what we have two injectable chemicals. This is our laundry wash. This is our soap. That right down there is our laundry disinfectant. That is listed with CDC as a known disinfectant for SARS. So one of the first things we want to tell you guys is basically, in the past, we've talked about taking your DRDs out, taking your suspenders out, and keeping that. From this point forward, we want you to leave your suspenders connected. We want you to leave your DRDs on. We have the ability to, in our washing machines, they're not going to do any damage to your gear. And what it's going to end up doing is going to remove the ability for any of that gear to get lost, specifically the DRDs. In the newer gear, we've even engineered a system into the turnouts where it's a captured system with some Velcro tabs. So there's no way that your DRD is going to come out in the laundry. And because the DRDs are sized specifically to your coat, if you were to say lose your DRD, we need to find a DRD from a similar year coat that's in the exact same size so that the system works correctly with you. And then one of the reasons that we want you to make sure that we're getting all of this information is what it does is it eliminates the exposure on our side with the logistics personnel. And what we end up doing is these serial numbers here is how we key it into our inventory tracking system. And what that inventory tracking system does is it allows us to track all of your washes. And the way we track your washes is we have a tracking software. You should have seen a printout of it in the last safety message. We track your helmets, your hoods, your gloves, everything. And in that system, we're able to track when you're due for your next wash. When your gear comes in and gets washed, when we come back and we start to do your inspection on it, what we're going to end up doing is we're going to check the last time your gear had an advanced inspection. Our third-party vendor, what they do is they end up putting the last date that you had an advanced inspection. And what an advanced inspection details is they're going to go through the gear like we do here and look for cuts and snares and thermal damage. But then what they're also going to do is they're going to flip your gear inside out and they're going to check the moisture barrier specifically for pinhole leaks. Because what ends up happening is when you end up getting pinhole leaks, you can end up getting bloodborne pathogens or steam burns, and it's easier for your garment to then fail. So what we do here is we check this number. Then if your gear ends up needing to go in for advanced inspection, we're going to take all of that information that you've provided us on your tag, and we're going to fill out our PPE repair and inspection form. It's got a front side for coat, back side for pant. What we're going to do is notate anything that we see on here on your liners and your shells, and that's going to go to our third-party vendor down in Lodi, and they're going to go and look at it, take this, put it down with the garment, do all the repairs, verify that all the repairs have been done, and then send it back to us. Once it comes back to us, then we'll ship it back to you on the next business day. What ends up happening with your gear is we have basically a 24-hour turnaround. Your gear is going to come in off the route at about 1 o'clock. We're going to get it washed, hung up to dry by about 3. It's going to dry overnight. When me and Brian get in the morning at about 5:30, 6 o'clock, along with the logistics personnel, we're going to go through, we're going to inspect all your gear. We're going to confirm that the serial numbers that you have or the serial numbers that we're sending back to you or the serial numbers that we're sending out to the vendor. Once all of that's confirmed, if it's going to go out, we create a list every day. This is from yesterday, so this is everybody's gear that came in, your hoods, your coats, your pants, where your designated station is, and then you'll notice all of the gear on the right hand side is going out for inspection. We have the return date. When that gear comes back in on the Monday, it's going to end up getting initialed and then sent out. So if you call in, you go, hey Bobby, I sent my gear in on Monday, it's Thursday, I'm working in overtime, I need some gear, I'll be able to go to that form and verify that no logistics or us sent your gear back to your station. It should have gone back to your station at this date. Can you confirm it's there? Or we're going to say, no, what ended up happening is your gear needed its advanced inspection, or we found a hook or a tear or something, and then that's going to have to go out to the manufacturer. We will get that gear back on Friday. It'll get delivered on Monday. Do you need a loaner? And then we could provide you with a loaner if you need it. One of the reasons, guys, that we ask you to check your pockets is because we're not going through your gear on the front end before it gets washed. What we're doing is we're taking all your information off your card, we're processing that in the system, and your gear is getting put directly in there. It limits the contact on our side, limits the exposure for the logistics guys. But you really need to work on making sure that nothing's in your pockets. This is just a couple months worth of stuff. What ends up happening, because those machines will generate such high G-force. So what ends up happening is it opens up and it ends up slicing into the gear. Depending on which, if it's in with your liners or if it's in with your shells, you're going to have specific damage to your moisture barriers and your thermal liners, or you're going to have damage to your outer shell. Both of those fabrics are extremely expensive to fix. And so just make sure that you're pulling your knives and stuff out. Also, what ends up happening is we collect stuff here. And then if your name's not on it, we don't know whose stuff it is because it's washed with 7 different sets of gear, then it kind of just sits up in a crate up here and lost and found until you call and ask for it. I mean, we've got watches, we've got wire cutters. It's like QVC over here.